Hello everyone. So in the previous video we have done how to prove that any vector is whether solenoidal or irrotational. So for solenoidal vector the condition is divergence of the vector field should be 0. Del dot f equal to 0. That is the condition for solenoidal vector. If any vector is irrotational, then curl of that vector must be a null vector. That means del cross f is equal to 0 vector. So as we discussed that if any vector field is an irrotational field, then there always exists a scalar potential phi such that we can express that f as gradient of phi. So here this phi is known as scalar potential of f. F is known as irrotational field or equipotential field or conservative field. So let's find out how today we will solve the question to know how to find scalar potential for any conservative field. Conservative field means F which is irrotational, which is also known as conservative field or irrotational field or equipotential field. Okay. So first example is prove that A, which is given as this, is irrotational, and once it is irrotational then we have to find its scalar potential. So we know how to prove that irrotational field. So let's, for this example, let's solve it once again. Let's revise that for irrotational, what is the condition? Del cross A must be null vector. So let's find out this del cross A. Del means I cap, j cap, k cap, dou by dou x, dou by dou y, dou by dou z, and then components of A are y plus z, z plus x, x plus y. So if we expand this determinant with respect to I, so dou by dou y of this is 1 minus dou by dou z of this is again 1. Similarly, dou by dou x of this is 1 and dou by dou z of this is again 1, and k cap which is dou by dou x of this, that is 1, minus dou by dou y of this, that is again 1. So what we are getting here? We have got null vector. So it is proof that A is irrotational. So we have proved that A is irrotational. So remember, if they say prove that A is conservative field, in that case also this condition is same, because irrotational is same as conservative or equipotential. So now we have proved the first part. Now we have to find any scalar potential F. So we can say that, so let's assume that A, which is irrotational, can be expressed as del phi. Now what is the target here? To find the value of phi. So what is A? A is y plus z I cap, z plus x j cap, and x plus y k cap. What is this? This is A, which is given. I have written that value. Now what is grade phi? How we define that? I cap dou phi by dou x, j cap dou phi by dou y, plus k cap dou phi by dou z. So what we have done in first step, this is the condition. Now we have substituted the values both sides. A is given and del phi we know how to define. Now if this side is equal to this side, that means if two vectors are same, that implies that coefficient of I, j, k are same. So let's compare the coefficients of I, j, k. So I can conclude that dou phi by dou x is equal to y plus z. Then similarly, this is the first equation. Dou phi by dou y is equal to z plus x. And third equation is dou phi by dou z is equal to x plus y. How we have written these equations? Just by comparing both sides. If I compare this side with this, so comparing values coefficients of I cap gives first equation. Similarly, comparison of j cap gives second, and comparison of k cap gives third. Now we have to find find the value of phi. That is the target. Okay. So if we know the value of dou phi by dou x, how we can find value of phi? Whenever we have the derivative, if we integrate, we can find the value of that required variable, dependent variable. Here dependent variable is phi. Now if I have to integrate this, I have to integrate with respect to which variable? X. Here we should remember that this is partial derivative. So what are the constants here? Which variables are considered as constant? Which we have done in partial differentiation and in other topics also, that when we are integrating partially, other variables are considered as constant. So x is variable, y and z are considered as constant. So if I integrate this with respect to phi, with respect to x, left hand side gives me phi. Now what is the integration of y with respect to x? Remember, y is constant since it is partial integration. So integration will be x, y. Similarly here integration of z will be, again z is constant, so integration of dx will be x, z. And whenever we integrate, we add a constant of integration. So in partial differentiation or partial integration, whenever we add the constant, that constant is assumed in terms of other variables or remaining variables. So remaining variable means we have integrated with respect to x, so remaining variables are y and z. So we substitute the constant in terms of z, which we have done in integration of partial differential equations also. So you can go through that concept again and you can check. Whenever we integrate partially, we substitute the constant of integration in terms of other variables. Similarly, so this is the integration of first equation. Similarly, here if I integrate with respect to y, what will be the value? Left hand side remains same, because here again the partial that dependent variable is phi. So phi is equal to yz plus xy. Now what will be the constant of integration? Since we are doing with respect to y, constant of integration is some function of x and z. Okay, so in the same line, if we integrate this phi with respect to z, we are doing now, so it becomes xz plus yz plus some function of x and y. So we had three partial differential equations. When we integrate them one by one, constant of integration is always chosen according to that integration with respect to which variable we are doing. So we have done these three integrations. Now we have to see that all these three are the values of phi. That means this is also the value of phi, this is also the value of phi, this is also value of the phi. So that means these all should be same. We cannot have three values of phi for the same function. So all has to be same. Now we have to observe these three equations and we have to choose these functions such that we can have or we can conclude on some common terms or a common unique function phi which may satisfy all these three equations. So basically what we have to do, by observing the given equation, obtained equations only, we have to choose these functions such that whatever the phi we are getting as a result is satisfying all these three equations. So what we do for that, first phi we choose and check all these three equations. Is there any term which is not at all repeating in any of the equation? It's not the case, every term is repeating. So leave that. Repeating means if some term is here, that is not there in any of the remaining two. So if you have any unique term, first you write that. So there is no unique term in any of the equations. So leave. Now we have for here to choose that function of yz. What is the mechanism here? That out remaining two equations you see. What are the terms which are in which are having what is the term which is having y and z? Is there any term in these two equations which is having yz and which is common in these two? So which term is common? Yz. So this term is common in these two. So if I put yz here, then it will satisfy this equation. Okay. Similarly, for this xz, check in these two equations, is there any term which is in terms of x and z? Is there any value? Yes, see, xz is there, so we can substitute xz here and then it will satisfy this equation also. And similarly, if I make it xy, that will satisfy that equation also. So we will have same terms in all the three functions, all the three scalar functions. Here, what is the shortcut? You start taking the common terms. First you write unique terms and then you start taking common terms. So you will see that you will get the final scalar potential. So let's start writing xy, yz, zx. This is the scalar potential for the given function. So again you see that what I have written, is it satisfying all these three functions? Xy is there, zx is there, yz I have introduced for this equation which is the constant, so I can assume as per the requirement. Similarly, it will satisfy this equation also and this equation also. So this is the way we find scalar potential. So let's solve one more question, then if any doubt is there, I hope that will be clear. So note it down and go through it and then we'll solve one more question. So let's take second example. Find the scalar potential of the function f is equal to sin y plus z I cap plus x cos y minus z j cap plus x minus y k cap. So in previous video, if you see, we have already proved that this function is irrotational. So in this question we will just find out the scalar potential. So what is the condition for scalar potential? If any vector field is irrotational, that can be expressed as gradient of scalar function phi. This phi is scalar potential. So we have to find this value. So substitute both the sides. X minus y k cap. Right hand side is I cap dou phi by dou x, j cap dou phi by dou y and k cap dou phi by dou z. So now compare both the sides. So dou phi by dou x can be written as sin y plus z. Dou phi by dou y is equal to x cos y minus z and dou phi by dou z is x minus y. Now if we integrate first equation partially with respect to x, then what we have to do? What type of equation these are? If you remember, we have done inhomogeneous equations with respect to one variable only. In that only what we do? We integrate with respect to that variable and constant is in terms of whatever the independent variables are. So that is the concept we are applying here. So in integration of inhomogeneous PDE, that is the concept we are applying here. So integrate this phi with respect to x if we do. So phi is equal to integration of this with respect to x, x sin y plus integration of this with respect to x, x z plus in constant of integration will be function in terms of y and z. So that is the integration of first equation. Similarly, integrate second equation. So now we have to integrate with respect to which variable? Y. Now x and z will be constant. So if I integrate with respect to y, x is constant, but what is the integration of cos y? Integration of cos y is sin y. So x sin y. Then integration of z with respect to y will be minus y z. And constant of integration is now x and z. Similarly, if we integrate dou phi by dou z with respect to z, it will be phi is equal to integration of x with respect to z is x z minus integration of y will be y z plus constant of integration is now function of x and 3, x and y. Now we have to see what is the common unique scalar potential out of these three equations. So is there any term which is not repeating? There is no term which is not repeating. Means is there any term which is having either only x or only y or only z? There is no such term which is having only one variable. So that is, if it is there, first we write that value first. Then to make this function of yz, what is the how we are doing that? For this function, leave this equation and remaining two equations, you see which term is common in terms of y and z. So which is the term common? This term. See, this yz is there, yz is there. So you can take that value yz, or you can say that function of yz. Let me write here. I think that will make more clear if any doubt is there. So f1, if we compare, f1 yz is minus yz. Similarly, if we find out x and z, so leave this equation and see remaining two equation, which is the term which is common in terms of x and z. So this is xz here. And if we find out xy, so leave this equation and see which is the term which is having x and y both and it's common, that is x sine y. So substitute these equations, these values here, and you will see you get a common phi, which is x sine y plus xz minus yz. So that's how we find scalar potential. So you practice for this and we'll see the new topic in next video.